to the stage of history. I am your illustrious host, Kevin Uncanny Anytime. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Thanks for coming and listening to me again. Man, today was interesting. Today I woke up and I don't know. You ever have days where you just wake up with a chip on your shoulder? Well, I woke up with a chip on my shoulder to my own self, and I'm like, okay, well, let's go get some practice in, right? Let's go get some basketball in. Go get some basketball in, and I'm having a terrible game. Cause, and I'm like, what is going on, dude? So I'm trying to figure it out. Um, Working on the things that I'm eating. I'm looking at all areas of my life. I'm really trying to figure it out, right? I'm like, okay, what's going on? I feel a little off, and I expect perfection so much, man. It's crazy. Like I just dive so deep into like, come on, like you gotta feel great all the time, right? Like I don't know why that's such a crazy feeling inside of me, but or such a grand aspiration that I have, but it's literally something that I go through sometimes. It's just like, I'm like, why aren't you feeling like 1000, dude? Like, what is going on? So I'm playing basketball and I'm just missing all type of shots, and I'm like, come on. Now, I mean, obviously, this happens. You see this happen in the NBA. Even, the elite players, they have bad games. Sometimes they just have bad games. That's just what it is. And I'm sure they think to themselves, like, what the heck is wrong? Like, I got a good handle on this, right? Because that's what it seemed like. My practices, my last few practices have been pretty decent. And I'm like, what is the deal, man? Like, why do I feel off? Like, I got enough sleep? Like, it just, for me, it's like, it's no excuses. All right, it's no excuses, man. You're supposed to be able to perform at the highest level all the time, all day, every day, right? And I don't know, it's just really interesting. So if you resonate with that, it's gonna be okay. It's just making it through the process. But it's like, hey, let's champion what good things that cause. Got a workout in, got some exercise, stuck to the consistent goals that we have daily. So it's like, it's a lot to be grateful for, right? But my insatiable quest to become the best version of me is just relentless, right? Because I'm not even playing against nobody. I'm not in a league or nothing like that. I just want to be elite. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be an elite character within myself. Because I'm only out there competing against myself. That's the great part about it. When I'm out there playing by myself and I'm practicing and stuff like that, and I want to make a bunch of shots, and I want my jumping to be great, and I want my shooting to be great, and I want my layups to be great, and everything, right? And that's just what it is. That's why I really, really, really appreciate it so much, because I can go out there and just kind of mentally fight against myself, and work on things and improve, and continue to look at areas of opportunity, and where's there gaps and holes and stuff like that. It's a really therapeutic process. So I stayed a little bit extra today. I usually do an hour, and Wednesdays are my cardio day. So I just do basketball. I don't do any weights or anything like that. So I just go straight basketball, right? And man, it's so fun, but it's so frustrating sometimes when I'm not having a good game. And it is what it is, man. It's really, really interesting. So just went on a little rant real quick to let y'all know how I was feeling. But it's it's really, really interesting, man, of how I feel and how I operate. Because again, like, there's nobody I'm preparing for. There's nothing I'm really preparing for. I just want to be great. And now think about that. Really think about that. It has nothing to do with anybody else. I just want to be great. I just want to feel like, hey, if I got to pull out this weaponry of this basketball and these basketball shorts and these legs, and I'm ready to go, I want to be able to perform at a high level, right? and it's like I'm practicing even though there's nothing happening. There's no tournament, there's nothing going on. And I'm practicing like crazy, like I'm preparing for something. It's just a great feeling. I don't know. It's a great feeling to do that. Um to really be like, hey, push it to the limit, and give it all you got so that you can prepare if you do have to unsheath your sword somewhere, right? My basketball sword, and be like, yo, let's get it in, right? I don't know. I've always felt like that. Practice when nobody's looking. Practice when it doesn't even matter. Practice in times of peace. I got that from the my favorite one of my favorite characters, Goku from Dragon Ball Z. He was always training, man. Even in times of peace, he was always training, and I just love that idea because I'm like, yo, you just gotta be a beast. You have to be a beast even in peaceful times, and be very structured, and very disciplined with yourself with that type of stuff, even when nothing's happening, when it's no real purpose behind it, it seems like. But then things arise out of nowhere, and then you have to perform, and thank goodness you were preparing, right? Because that's how it happens, man. That's exactly how it happens. But I'm going way far out of the topic here. It has a little bit to do with it, but I didn't want to go so much into just what's going on in my life and go on a tangent so much. But listen, the topic I got for you today, obviously, is a good one, right? It's, what is the next goal? What is the next goal? That is incredibly important to always consider. Now, I'm not saying don't be satisfied with the stuff that you're doing. I'm not saying, be grabbing for so many different things, like, oh, I did that. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I did that. And now I got to go for the next thing. It's like, no, you can bask in your accomplishment for a time, relevant to the situation of what it is, right? It's like, if for me, okay, let's just go into personal. For me, if I make a video, and I'm making these videos daily, y'all, this is tripping me out because there are times where I'm like, can I keep this up? And I love the challenge of it because it stretches my brain to be like, come up with something different, come up with something new on a daily basis, right? On Saturdays and Sundays, I kind of take a rest on my mind, but 5 days a week, I'm like, come with some hardcore, motivational, inspirational content, right? And so I love the challenge of it, and that is something that is just that. It's the little daily thing, right? So it's like when I make a really good one and I come out with a really good one, I'm like, oh, this is good. I like this. I like how this sounds. I like the music that I put to it. I like what I said to it. I like the videos, the collage of videos that I put with it as well. And I sit there for a minute and I rewatch it, maybe like 20 times. Realistically, like probably like 20 times. And I'm like, okay, that was good, man. That's a good one. I really like that. Right. There's a couple in the past I'll have to look at. But then once it's gone, it's gone. Once it's done, it's done. And I'm like, all right, well, tomorrow we gotta come up with another one, Kev. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. Let's see how much you can keep up. Let's see how much you can do. And it's just me, doing the editing, the creative directing, the everything. And it's really challenging. It's very challenging, and I don't know. I must really like difficulty because that is a very mental taxing task to do, to come up with motivational content every single day, motivational, inspirational content. So, but what is the next goal? The next goal is the program in the institute here that we're about to establish next week. So look forward to that. So the program is going to definitely enhance you spiritually, right? It's going to enhance your spirit. And that is the next thing. But then right after that, there's going to be a next thing. So once I get this all taken care of, I'm going to measure the amount of the goal, right? It's like I measure the amount of the goal, and I'm like, okay, so this is how I'm going to reward myself based off of this goal that I've accomplished, right? And so sometimes it's like, it's just rewatch it one time and move along. But with this, it's taken me a great deal of time, especially with the balance of everything with my family and my kids and all of that, and trying to make sure that I don't flip out and go crazy in the process of getting all of this done, because I have to be stable for everything else to be stable in the household. So to ensure that my mental is, for the most part, very uh, copacetic and even keel, then that requires certain sacrifices sometimes, which slows down the process a bit. But I never totally abandon the process, right? Um, it's like the Martin Luther King where he said, if you can't walk, then crawl. Sometimes you will be broken down to a crawl, and that's a necessary thing. It's a very necessary thing, because if you try to run in a situation where you're supposed to crawl, then you really mess yourself up. It's like trying to run into a crawl space. It's like, no, you'll have to break down to a crawl. You can't run through a crawl space. It just doesn't work like that. The situation calls for you to slow down and crawl through that. So that's how we want to look at our life, y'all. There's very different situational things that we are going through, and you need to have the right tool for the job, right? You have to have the right pace for the time frame that you're in, and not trying to force something, because every time we try and force things, it creates this weird energy. Each time something is forced, and it can either recoil back to you, or it can cause a effect in the world that reciprocates something not as beneficial as it could be, if there's really a measure of patience and care and time that's placed into it, right? So we really want to consider those things. We really want to think about what's happening, what are we doing, and if we're just trying to force it. Because what is the real purpose of forcing things, right? What's the real background idea of forcing things? It's because you're trying to rush it because you feel fearful of something, or you feel anxiety about something, right? Like whether you're not getting money or whatever the case may be, and that's a scarcity mindset. If you're ever trying to force something, you are in a scarcity mindset. I guarantee you. Even if it works and it produces a great effect, or it has a lot of seemingly gain behind it, that is a subatomic scarcity mindset. It's deep in your subconscious, and what's happening in that process is it's damaging you slowly. It's damaging you slowly, like slowly eating a burger a day or something like that. It's like it's slowly messing up the machinery. You don't see it right away, but it is taking its toll. And because it's taking a toll on you, you don't really recognize it. But because it's taking a toll on you, you are not as really, you're not as effective. You're not as happy. You're not as content and joyful around people that like you should be, right? Because everything flows greatly when we operate out of the fruitages of the spirit, joy, peace, love, patience, kindness, goodness, all of that stuff that is mentioned in the Bible. So that's where we're in our highest vibration, when we're operating out of those. But anything else is like, if we're operating out of fear or some type of I need to get this done because blah, blah, blah. I need to feed my family. I need to, it's like, chill out. Okay. Because it also says, hey, the God feeds the birds of heaven. So aren't you more important than that? So You can't add a cubit to your lifespan, you yourself. So it's like, just calm down. The anxieties of life will be there for tomorrow, Jesus' words. But we really want to just make sure that we're doing the best we can, right? We're doing the best we can. And for me, doing the best I can is being very well rounded. Even in basketball, I always apply basketball to my life. I wanted to be a very well rounded player. I didn't want to be hyper skilled in just one area and be totally bogus in another area. I wanted to be adept all the way around the board, and then have a certain go-to mastery, right? Whether it was my layups or it was my three-point shot, something that is like, hey, watch out, because he's very well-rounded. He can get rebounds, he can get steals, he's got solid defense, but if he gets in that corner spot, he's deadly. Okay, be careful. So that's usually the way that I like to look at my life in general. It's like, hey, being a father, trying to make sure that I'm giving my kids the proper time. That's always a juggle. Then dedicating the time to building the Mindset Matters Institute is a juggle, because that's a baby as well. That is a small child that needs to be paid attention to and cultivated. And then the physical stuff, as far as working out and staying healthy and paying attention to what you eat and paying attention to what you say and paying attention to what you look at and what you listen to and all of that stuff. A lot of stuff becomes autonomous, like as far as what I listen to and what I watch and stuff like that. But um there always needs to be a measure of paying attention to these things, and making sure you're doing the proper maintenance of, hey, okay, well, let me see, let me do a count of everybody that I'm following, everybody that's following me. Like, do I want to see their content? Do I not want to see their content? Really, really assess every single thing. It's a daily thing. It's a daily thing. But what is the next goal, y'all? What is the next goal? What is the next goal? And that's what we want to have before us. We want to absolutely have something else before us. What are we gonna do after this, right? And I'm not saying don't take time to yourself and celebrate your accomplishments and maybe think about some things, but in the process of that, there is something else to look forward to. Um, Even though you're taking a small rest for a moment, to take a breather, to look at everything you've done, because that's important, to look back and see everything that you've accomplished. It's a good thing to see all of the good you've done, so really, really think about that. But yeah, what we can do is try to ensure that once we create one thing to do, um, create something right away, that you will have to do after that, right? So it's like, don't just come up with one thing. Like, don't just come up with one video, Kev. It's like, have the next video in mind as far as what we're gonna talk about later, right? And sometimes that's difficult to do, right? Sometimes I'm working day of, I'm like, okay, well, this is what I need to come up with for today. But if you want to make the process a little smoother, it's, what is the next goal? What is the next goal? What is the next goal? Right? I mean, well, technically, I don't have it just where I'm operating out of the day to day, because I have the entire week of segments of what we talk about, right? Mindset Matters Monday, Think Tank Tuesday, Who Am I Wednesday, Thoughtful Thursday, and Freestyle Friday. So I do always have that next video of like, okay, that's what's tomorrow. So gotta think about, okay, what is this going to say? What am I going to do with that? That is always in the forefront of my mind. So it is pretty much having that next goal ahead of yourself. And that's just weekly tasks. But as far as what your major goals are, that's also the same process. When we write down on our vision boards or in your notebook or wherever you want to write it down, and you have those lists of things, you will have a hey, you'll have some tasks on your hand. You'll have some things ahead of yourself. And once you get done with that first goal, you check it off, you start working on the next one, and you treat it, a measure of the same, with the patience and care and time that you need to put into it. So yeah, really think about that, y'all. Shoot in the comments, what's your next goal? Shoot me some messages. Let me know, what's your next goal? What are you gonna do? Because there's so much that I have to do. I have to build the clothing website, I have to build the main website, I have to build um there's a lot that I have. So I try not to say it so much because I don't want to overwhelm myself. Usually when I say a whole bunch of it, I'm like, oh my goodness, I got so much to do. But that is all future stuff. It's all great. It's all things that I have laid ahead of me that I can definitely get done and be accomplished and fulfilled with those activities, because they are things that I truly want to do. So have something ahead of yourself all the time, y'all. What is the next goal? What is the next goal? Keep yourself moving forward. There needs to be some kind of a pull, something that you're grabbing for every day, and every time that you wake up, it's like, okay, I'm getting these things done to move forward in my life, to feel accomplished in my life, to fulfill more of me, of what I'm trying to do in my purpose, right? That is incredibly important. It's incredibly important to continue to have something in front of you, and not so much as, because sometimes it's like, chase your dreams, chase your goals. Like, no, we're in pursuit. We're in pursuit, because that's going to look different every day. All right. Some days you're not going to be running. You're going to be observing. Sometimes you just got to sit back and watch and look around and be like, okay, where are they at? Where are they going? Where's this goal going? Where did it end up? In my pursuit of it, where is it in relation to where I am now? How far do I have to go? Um, and then sometimes you'll be crawling for it, and sometimes you'll be running at it really hard, and it's all going to be different every day. So keep going, keep doing what you're doing, keep getting it in, y'all. Keep setting those goals ahead of yourself, okay? And if you haven't, start doing it, okay? Start setting those goals ahead of yourself. Start putting things in front of you so that you can be in pursuit every day, and that's going to drive you to continue to wake up and have that sense of urgency, of purpose, of life, right? Because we all need to feel that. We all have to have some form of uh urgency of why I'm getting up and what I'm doing, right? Because that gives you the fulfillment that you be looking for in the day for the most part. But yeah, guys, I love you guys. I love you guys very, very much. So yeah, next week, launching a challenge, 2.5 months. So what I'll say, like 75 days. I'll have to count up all the days and see how many it is. 75-day challenge, y'all. We're gonna get it in, and it is going to be on and popping. So get prepared, because once I get it going, once I launch it out there, I want you to really put some energy into it, okay? Really put thought process and your being into it, because it is going to be great. It is going to be great. It's going to show you a lot about yourself, right? And so, yeah, look forward to that. Look forward to the clothes coming out very soon. I'm still working on different designs and things like that. Again, taking my time with that. There's no rush. I'm not trying to get a bunch of sales and blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. It's really just about doing it and having it have meaning, having it have purpose, not just throwing something out there because I need income. Okay. So I really love you guys. I appreciate you guys very much for listening to this, for being here. Mindset matters more than anything else, y'all. All right. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Focus on the good, and we'll see you next time. Anytime out.